duo system and Nocturne just as a general strong pick. So yeah, I think that is what Vitality should look for, and Fnatic they just pick whatever they think is strong, and that's what we're gonna see.
Yeah, I do think being red side though is an advantage in this meta, right? Because you have that last pick, you get to see where you think at least all the champions on the enemy team are going to go. So I do like Vitality's chances in that regard. They get to save that last pick for Cabo or Jiizuke to have a counter.
The fact that they can see all the champions locked in before they choose the last is very, very crucial against the specific lineup of Fnatic, because then they can actually choose what champion they will take at last to counteract what they see. So we see the Trundle pick, yeah?
I'm quite surprised that they put a priority on Trundle over the Irelia. Why do you think that could be, Coles?
It's probably because they have a counter pick prepared for Irelia.
That doesn't make sense.
What I can say though is that Yasuo is open. I think Yasuo is one of those champions that both Caps and Bwipo may potentially sOAZ. I'm not sure if he can play it, but they can play it, and it's a champion that I know Irelia Yasuo is like a skill matchup. So it's very, very like on the edge, especially when Irelia hits 6, where you need to block the ulti with the wind wall, and it can get very intense. Like, but I'm sure Caps is willing to go in a skill matchup. So maybe that's their thought process. So I assume that they will pick probably Yasuo now on the Fnatic side, and another pick that can be flexed, maybe like Ryze, maybe like Swain, something like this.
Already getting the Yas. Locking it in, the potential skill matchup.
And the good part about Yasuo, especially with Trundle, is that it's so easy to get the knock-up, so they have insane synergy together. I like the pickup from Vitality with the Alistar, because what Alistar does is that it kinda, if they put Yasuo bot lane, Alistar is one of the best picks into Yasuo bot lane. Because it's so easy to lock down.
So you're kind of limiting the number of places that the Yasuo can go, and you're trying to force it into the mid lane.
Maybe. I mean, maybe they're just YOLOing it and putting Yasuo bot anyway. You know? Like, the thing with this is that they are the way of I think Fnatic is thinking with their drafts is that they just draft strong champions that all of them can play, and then someone on the team is gonna take the garbage and play that lane, but the others are so far ahead in the draft because they are so flexible with their picks.
Counter pick's pretty important now. One of the options to Irelia in the past, or at least from what we've seen in the LCK, was Darius. It's now locked in here. What matchup do you expect this to go into? How does it fare against a pick like Mundo or a pick like the Yasuo as we do enter the second ban phase?
Well, I'm expecting this Darius to go into the Mundo, largely just because Mundo is considered pretty safe. And when you have Darius, he generates a lot of early game pressure. So right now, I feel like that topside, Vitality kind of do have a bit of an advantage. The fact that they don't have a jungler means that Fnatic could look to pinch that role, but I do feel like we haven't seen a lot of pinching recently. It's more about just trying to take away some of these really nuanced champions that are really obnoxious to play.
Well, you can't pinch because you don't know what the other team's actually picked, so you might just be pinching a role that they've already selected their champion for.
And I like the fact that they actually picked the Darius, because it's a champion that can have silent pressure against the Mundo as the game goes on, and also it's a champion that can really shut down a comp that is very Bruiser based, where they're literally in their face. Some of the weaknesses of Darius is to get kited, but if you're playing against Trundle, Yasuo, Mundo, you know they're gonna be in your face, and you can get the stacks, and you can actually have good fights. So I like that pickup. And right now we can. I'm not exactly sure where Vitality is gonna go with the draft. We have seen Attila. How do you say?
Yeah.
Attila. Be very creative with some AP options.
And that's what I like. They've taken away at least 2 of them, the Heimerdinger, the Ziggs. Interestingly enough, the Sejuani now going to get locked in as well.
Part of me thinks that Ryze will be an increase in priority for Fnatic just because they don't have any AP damage yet. I don't know if you think that AP
higher
damage
chance it's gonna be Swain, because Ryze is pretty bad against Irelia. So yeah.
There you go.
Superior analyst.
yeah, coming in clutch.
But yeah.
Swain, Pyke, bot lane. That is some dirty CC chain,
well,
too.
that's the thing. That's what you don't know.
That's what I
because
think.
That's the. I mean, in theory, you only really know that the Mundo is going top, but I mean, it could be Mundo mid. You know, it could be Mundo bot lane. Like, for all we know, we literally don't know. And that's where it's so strong for them that they can draft 3 champions that all of them can play, and you have to pick into it, you know?
Here's the thing, though. I think it's crime if you don't give Yasuo to Caps. If Caps is not playing that champion, the world is upside down.
I'm not sure if people would be happy with that statement.
I mean,
it's rather insulting, no?
Caps is Yasuo's just clean, baby.
It's clean. It's even world renowned.
I
at this
agree
point.
with you, though. I agree.
And this is the issue, right? Is now we're in that mind game that we see so often in pick and bans, where we have 18 seconds left and counting. And you got to wonder, are they going to switch? Are they going to call bluffs? Because at 20 seconds, everyone switches, and you don't get a chance to then respond to your opponent switching. So it could all come to this.
It's gonna, yeah. I mean, they have 5 seconds. We will see the matchups. I'm really excited to watch this mid lane matchup because we have Yasuo and against Irelia, and for all I know, there's gonna be so much brawling around mid because both junglers need to facilitate these 2 champions. I don't think there's like a clear winner on the 2v2 mid, and it's all about execution, which is super exciting.
Ooh, that's interesting. So I was just about to ask you, we've seen now a bit of Sejuani with the buffs on A12. In the 2v2, do you have a clear favorite? But you just said you don't know, so...
I mean, I think it's very skill-based. I think both can win, so I'm not 100% sure. It's all about execution.
All right, we're going to find out who comes out on top in the 2v2 and who comes out on top in Fnatic versus Vitality as we move to QuickFox to get us on the Rift.
Very much. Dracos, welcome back to the caster desk. Earlier today, we saw Roccat go per, Misfit go bouncy, bouncy, Vitality go bzzz. And I have one question. What does the FoxDrop say about that pick and ban and our team compositions?
Mate, I refuse to respond to that statement, buddy. I refuse, but I will, in the spirit of competition and the EU LCS, still answer your question. It's nice.
What is nice about these team compositions?
As in the words of in the words of Cold, superior analyst.
There we go.
Nice. I honestly like anytime Caps gets Yasuo, I'm like nice. And then Yasuo into Irelia, like we mentioned, the skill matchup. That's what I'm really interested to see because this could go either way, and it will come down to the 2v2s. And I really want to see if we're going to get some more Caps highlights.
I am just terrified because there are so many champions I don't cast very frequently, and all of the spell names that I have to try and filter when I can't even see red buffs. It's going to be difficult. Take a look at the keystones, by the way. Is that a fleet of footwork? Sejuani for Gilius, Predator Vladimir for Attila with his TP in the bottom lane. Trying to see if there's any other shenanigans, but...
It's still pretty standard. The fleet footwork was something we saw more in the past with Sejuani when the runes had just got their rework. But then it kind of swapped back to Aftershock. I was actually talking to Zyrene about this over Twitter before I became the superior analyst I am today with statements such as, it's nice. And he was saying that when they changed around the fleet footwork and the precision tree, they gave it more attack speed when you take it as a secondary tree, which was basically the real reason you took fleet footwork on Sejuani, was mostly because you wanted the attack speed that you got from having precision as your primary tree, and the fleet footwork gave you a little bit of healing and stuff like that for your clear. But it still gives you some benefit when you're clearing the jungle, and more importantly, and possibly the reason why Gilius has taken it this game, is because it enables you to stack your passive faster on targets, because you whack someone around the head, and then you get that burst of move speed that you can then keep whacking them around the head to set up the stun.
Stay in range, keep the CC going. As you can see, lots of CC in this bottom lane. Bwipo's landed a couple of those never moves already. We jumped to skill matchup in the mid lane, two level 2s trading blows. Ziggy thrown out, and Jiizuke for this time will sidestep.
Ooh.
The first Scuttle Crab has been secured, and no chance from the Church of Scuttle Crab. They're letting me down today.
I think that's the first time we've seen 2 junglers take the same path and one of them just come out on top with the Scuttle, because Gilius did opt into the buff clear, whereas Broxah was prioritizing that Scuttle Crab. Now, I do honestly prefer that out of Broxah because that's the more neutral, contested jungle camp outside of the ones you got in your side.
You're in jungle.
Exactly. So that's the one. If you're going to contest one, it will be that one. So secure it first with Broxah, and hey, the push in the bot lane enables Fnatic to do the exact same thing and take away the bot lane, or at least leash this bot lane, potentially leashing this bot Scuttle. I love it.
This is really good for Broxah. He's halfway to level 4. Gilius a little bit closer to level 3. You were talking about the Scuttles and the focus around objectives, but Vitality have actually had a phenomenal objective early game. 87.5% Drake control for the first one of the game. Obviously, 100% of the first Barons. They're 2-1 at the moment. Very good performance. They've also got 2 out of 3 first bloods in game. So Vitality's early game, they were already good lost split. They've leaned into this meta, playing a lot of the powerful champions, as you can see with Attila playing the Vladimir in the bottom lane. And they're using it to their advantage.
Yeah, these are two teams where they're both 2-1, but arguably Fnatic in their first week should have lost both their games, some people might say. And Vitality, the game that they lost, was ridiculously close. It came down to a late game team fight. Oh, cheeky flash out of Attila there. That's nice. We might get a gank coming down there later, but for now it's a gank in the top side.
All right, Pillar of Ice is going to come down in a moment. Does happen. Couple of decimates thrown around. Cabochard's going to be able to step backwards, but summon a spell blown, so still a successful gank.
Not too bad as well. He could have got dove there, but a nice little yanking under the tower means if they kept chasing, they might have actually died to the tower. And Gilius is sniffing about, but I think both him and Jiizuke will be a bit late to this party. So a little bit time invested, not too much coming out of it.
Notice the slowdown in the delivery, FoxDrop, just in case the action breaks out. But
there's a chance.
It did not, so therefore we can pick the tempo back up. No first blood secured yet, 5 minutes on the clock. The first backs have already happened, but I really like seeing what Bwipo and Hylissang were doing in the bottom lane. A lot of trading, a lot of jumping into Attila and Jactroll's face. It hasn't necessarily accrued them a CS advantage, but I think you have to play a bit forward when you've got these kill-type lanes, these kill duos.
Absolutely, and Hylissang is very good on this Pyke, and we've known him as well as being one of these playmaking players on these playmaking champions as well. So he's known for, like, his Thresh, for example. It's really bloody good, and Pyke is kind of like a in-meta Thresh right now, or at least it has a similar place in the game. So if Broxah wants to go down into that bot lane, they've already blown the flash of Attila. Might get something going.
We'll keep our eyes on it. For now, Broxah's focused around this mid lane again. Mid to top half, I think, is a little bit more fair. As Caps is busy dealing with Jiizuke in the mid lane. Junglers are going toe-to-toe. Windwall comes out. Flawless Duet, I think, was in fact blocked. Blade Surge is coming out. No level 6, but here comes Hylissang. Ghost Water Dive is available. I'm waiting to see for a skewer. Will it find anybody? Not just yet. Decides to hold that cooldown for now.
And while that was all happening in the mid lane, there was a scuttle contention in the river topside, which actually went in the favor of Broxah. So he's had both Scuttle Crabs on the first rotation, and now he's picked up this one, which is a big reason why there's such a big CS difference between Gilius and Broxah, which will be huge because Broxah is level 5 and almost, he's going to hit 6 soon, basically, whereas Gilius is a step behind. And this is one of those things where when you look at that individual matchup there, a little bit behind on Gilius's half. Is that his fault? Not really, honestly.
And look at the minimap, by the way. Hylissang once again roaming. We talked a lot about Hylissang playing the likes of Pyke yesterday, in fact, as well, and suits his playstyle, suits his demeanor. Yesterday, Bwipo was playing the Rise. Today, obviously, the Swain. We've got some stats for you in terms of his performance. Oh, we've even got Scuttle Crab Cram. Scuttle Crab Cam? We got there in the end. I don't know what the hell that was, dude. Haven't got a clue. But thank you, observers. And there's Bwipo's performance from yesterday. 31% of his team's damage on that Rise, 5-1-13. It was an obliteration of H2K, who may have to rebrand to E2K. Easy to kill after giving up 1 death per minute.
Broxah's looking bot side. He might go for this one. Still no flash on Attila.
Visions of the Empire is going to keep Attila slowed down for now. Pillar of Ice comes out. Bone Skewer into a chomp from Broxah. And that just looked too easy. No flash on Attila. You called it, FoxDrop.
Well, even though Broxah gets that first blood, a lot of credit does go down to the bot lane of Fnatic for being able to get that flash. But another fight happening in the top side.
All right, Cabochard gets an apprehend, goes down for the Noxian Guillotine, but sOAZ is going to use that sadism to stay alive. Cabo's doing pretty well. Manages to get some damage, gets some sustain thanks to that Q, but not going to be enough to pick up the kill. Now, Jiizuke is going fishing.
Oh, boy.
Remember, Jiizuke in the spring split had some sick outplays. He's going to need to land everything. Flash and Ignite is available. Takes a couple of tower shots. We're going to quickly look down bottom as Hylissang and Bwipo look for the engage. Ghost Water Dive goes forward. A flash forward. Demonic Ascension explosion. Fnatic kill bottom. Fnatic kill top. Fnatic kill Vitality.
And Vitality trying so hard to make things happen, and it's absolutely not happening for them right now. Jiizuke roams topside. Tries to get an exit frag onto Caps, but it's not happening, and he goes down on that field. That's absolutely the worst. They're not even done.
Oh, gonna get interrupted there. Jactroll death from below. Bwipo even uses the stopwatch to survive the dive. And that, actually, that was just dirty.
It was absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy, and 5 kill advantage from Fnatic 9 minutes into the game, or not even 9 minutes into the game. Honestly, this game started out kind of slow. Broxah was level 6 before they even got the first blood, and now it's just blown wide open. Absolutely incredible stuff from Fnatic, really turning up the gas.
Really is good. And yesterday, they just went from sort of gear to gear, speed to speed, accelerated, and
they're cheating here. They've skipped a few gears. They just went from 0 to 100.
Yeah, very well played indeed. So Fnatic, 2,000 gold up, already got a Rod of Ages completed for Bwipo on the bottom lane, and here's going to be a replay. Oh, such a good play. Just using all of the ability, the entire kit of Hylissang. But I got to ask the question, what was Jactroll doing?
I'm just thinking, did he not see that, or I don't know, but...
Okay, I'm taking a look now. There's a couple of dashes and slashes and everybody flying across the minimap. Teleport comes out as well as that last breath. And we're going to be a kill onto Jiizuke in a moment or two. He's chunked down. Demonic Ascension already on cooldown. Jiizuke not appreciating this as Attila gets knocked up into the air. sOAZ takes him down and he's not done yet. Remember yesterday, diving all the way into the base to kill Sheriff. For now, Fnatic will be happy to just get more kills as well as the mid out of town. That's Tower First Blood. They're not done yet. FoxDrop because Bone Skewer manages to connect to Cabo. He's locked in place. The Pillar of Ice comes out. Here comes Jactroll trying to interrupt, but Fnatic are diving and chasing and killing Vitality. 10 kills in 10 minutes.
How on earth is Fnatic able to do this when they were so poor and mediocre in the first week of the summer split? What is this team? This is complete night and day from what we saw of them early on. It's absolutely phenomenal. They're not doing this against any slouch opponents either, but let's take a look at how this one all started off, because Vitality were the aggressors of this play, thinking it was going to be a pretty standard gank, gets turned around, but the important thing to know here is that this is going to turn into 5 people in the mid lane for Fnatic. Everyone's TP'd in except Cabochard does not have his teleport, or at least decides not to use it. When you're behind in a game, you absolutely do not want to have a 5v5 team fight, and you really, really, really do not want to have a 4v5 team fight. And that's what cost them there, and then just a little bit of overstaying as well. And Fnatic are they just never have enough. They always want more. They're very greedy. It's one of those deadly sins, gluttony, but apparently they don't seem to care. At least they're looking very deadly in this game.
10 kills, in fact, at 11.5 minutes.
Didn't they do a similar thing to Schalke?
Gentlemen, look at the timer. They did, in fact. It was 1 per minute, but it ramped up later. There are 3 minutes to go before we hit 15 minutes, and anybody who keeps up with stats knows that's one of the magic numbers. The team that has secured the most kills at 15 minutes is Misfits with 12. Fnatic are 2 behind that. Can they break that record? We're going to find out as Hylissang and Bwipo will find themselves in position for a fight in a moment or two. There's another record at 15 which they're chasing, and that's the gold lead. G2 hold it, 7,868 gold in the lead at 15. So let's see if Fnatic can break either record. It needs more kills, it needs more towers. And right now, when they're playing defensive, they're not going to break that record, FoxDrop.
No, but it's totally within the realms of possibility. They've had a pretty good start to this game, and if Vitality make the mistake of trying to contest some objectives as Fnatic go for them, we absolutely could see some of these records being broken, because that is the next focus for Fnatic. It's the objectives. If you've got enough kills, I know you want to see them break that little record there, Trevor.
I do indeed.
I think Fnatic care a little bit more about just securing and winning this game. So they have a lot of kills. Now they're looking to the objectives, and the Rift Herald will be the big one, because that's how you start breaking open some of these towers.
All right, Rift Herald is still on the map for a couple of minutes longer. Let's see when they decide to prioritize it. I mean, the fact that top outer turret is still available, so is bottom. There's options for Fnatic outside of just the Herald. They're running out of time for my record. I know I care very deeply about it.
Of course.
But of course, Broxah will be able to use this buff to push down one of those lanes. Looking at items, just very quickly. We've already got the Executioner's calling on the side of Hylissang, in fact.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, gonna get some of the healing reduction down. Cap stunned out. Here comes Jactroll. It's gonna be a lot of damage for Caps. He's dropped and killed. And that was just an outplay, biting off more than he can chew. Well played to Jactroll.
If ever you wanted evidence that Caps is in fact a Yasuo main, there it is right there. No matter how well you do, you're gonna in a few times in a game. And that's Caps' first one. It won't be the last, most likely.
No, definitely not the case. And it will be at least a kill on the board for Vitality. Bwipo manages to connect with the Never Move. The Bone Skewer was early. Hylissang firing that one out, and that means no additional kills. Right, can sOAZ survive this dive, FoxDrop?
Well, sOAZ is the king of surviving things, so I'm putting the edge in his favor.
All right, we're going to find out. Stopwatch is available to him. Has already thrown down Sadism chunking. Look at that HP. 50, 50, 50, 50. Gilius and the rest of Vitality have to run away. I actually think Vitality took more effective HP damage than sOAZ did on his Dr. Mundo. Can he interrupt any of the recalls? There's support coming from Caps as well as Broxah. The Rift Herald is summoned and there's nobody available. Right, teleports in the bottom lane. Chemo Plate goes down as Bwipo uses Demonic Ascension. He found an exit route that I didn't even know existed. Diving past Vitality. Teleport completed for Cabochard in the bottom lane. And Fnatic will be content with the tower in the top.
If I'm Fnatic though, I want to keep pushing in this top lane because you have seen Vitality dedicate resources, bot with that TP to make that play happen. So you could have had the outnumber playing the top side, get that second charge with the changes to the Rift Herald. The second charge is much more valuable, but Fnatic deciding not to go for that one and instead securing the scuttle, much to the appreciation of the fans here in Berlin.
Where were you when the Church of Scuttle Crab was born? The audience in Berlin, well, you're here with us, so thank you very much for joining us. Huge cheers for the Scuttle going down, and huge cheers for Fnatic. 6K up, 10 kills to 1. We will have a momentary pause coming in shortly, and Fnatic, it's just Fnatic are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to figure out what to do because they're making the plays and they're making them stick. So what is the counterplay? Don't get hooked, don't get caught, get good? I don't know what it is.
Get good was, yeah, well, that's a bit of a harsh one to chuck in there. But honestly, it could simply come down to the fact that these guys have dug themselves a pretty large hole and they're going to have to find a way to escape from it. And yes, you want to look forward to what they can do, but at the same time, in a game like this, you have to really think, okay, maybe we just look towards the next game.
Yeah, maybe the
That sounds harsh, but
15 minutes in, there is still some scaling on their side. I'm not too sure. I got an update from the production team that Jiizuke is restarting his client. We will have him back shortly. I do want to just remind and reiterate to everybody that is with us, if you do not want World Cup spoilers, block your ears now. Dun, dun, dun. Earlier today, FoxDrop reminded the audience that Germany lost to Mexico, 1-0. Whoa, there's like one person yelling. I know this is dangerous. I'm in Berlin. This is scary. Currently, Germany are losing to Sweden. Now that got more cheers.
How did that get cheers?
There's a few more Nordic fans, although I must admit, I may have just started a fight. I apologize about this. However, I do have a quick stat for you about the Football World Cup. Would you like to hear it, Berlin? Would you like to hear it, Foxy?
I want to hear it. I'm all ears, mate.
The last time that Germany did not advance from the group stage was 1978. The format was different. They advanced from group stage 1 to group stage 2. This might be the first time in 50 years, if they don't bounce back from Sweden, they do not advance. And that makes me sad.
Does it?
Well, there's like 10 people from the Nordics here cheering, and the rest of the audience is with me. Because I want Deutschland to advance.
So just as a little refresher here, was Mars Attacks out when Germany didn't?
It was. I'm going to bring it back really quickly to... the game. Actually, we are in a pause. Once again, please, spoilers, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to hear it, block your ears for 30 seconds. 1-1, Germany, Sweden. Right.
What a time. That was did you organise that? Have you written the World Cup script? Is right involved in that as well?
I wish I had that power.
Was
I wish
perfectly
they could score immediately after I do my whole Deutschland story.
They literally just scored. That is actually absurd.
The thing is, I am talking to an Englishman, so...
Yes, you are.
The English, and is it the Three Lions and...
3 Lions on the shirt, yeah.
Football World Cup, name a more disappointing duo?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with that one. It was not... We have not had the greatest of performances, but England beat Tunisia, and Belgium also beat Tunisia.
Exactly.
So, next time, the Belgian and the English are going to meet. And what do you reckon is going to be as unlucky that I'm not in the office when they play.
I
I think
sincerely
Shox will
hope that
probably,
you and Shox are not nearby.
Yeah, she'll probably whip her claws out. And listen, I don't want to be anywhere near that. She's probably way more fanatical about football than I am.
You have no idea. You have no idea. She is a serious Belgian football fan. But that is enough for the Football World Cup. We're going to bring our attention back to Vitality as well as Fnatic. Vitality are in a gigantic hole. They need to find a way to come back. The thing is, they do have some tools in their kit. They've got the Vlad, the Irelia, the Darius that can do well into the champions that Fnatic have.
Yep.
But when they're down 5-6K gold, it means there's no room for mistakes when they decide to make a play.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had way too many mistakes already this game. Any more you create for yourselves will probably lead in way too much hemorrhaging of objectives. And Cold mentioned on the desk. I keep wanting to call him trashy. I need to get that out of my head.
Practice, yeah.
Cold on the desk said that the Darius pick into Mundo was one of those picks where as the game goes on in the 1v1 in the side lane, it can work well for him. So you just kind of want to keep things as they are for a little bit and get to that point where Cabochard can match sOAZ in that side lane. And then Jiizuke, I mean, look at this late game team fight. We've seen Profit on the Vlad pop off in the late game as well. In fact, it was against Vitality where he did it.
And so we see Attila do more, though. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
I think he would have witnessed the Vlad working in the late game, so maybe he can do it himself as well.
Well, it just catch you back up if you have just joined us. Of course, Vitality have been struggling. Fnatic's proactive early game. They went fishing for kills. They found them. Hylissang was definitely involved in several with this Pyke. Broxah moving around the map. You can see all the kill participation. And we're getting close to the 20-minute mark. Herald has already been used in the top lane. All of the outer turrets have already been secured. So for Fnatic, it's a matter of wait until Baron and then play around Baron.
Absolutely, and we saw a little bit of that in the last game as well. And Fnatic's Baron taking is pretty good, honestly. I mean, anytime you have a Yasuo on your team, it's bound to be relatively good. But what I'm looking forward to the most when the Barons start spawning is the fact that Fnatic can just put down those pinks, deny the vision, and then turn when Vitality kind of face check. They've got a really good team for doing that, if not just because of Hylissang playing that Pyke.
And it's also important to keep your eyes on the items, guys, because currently, Cabo, Gilius, and Jiizuke are not that tanky. They've got Trinity Forces in a Cinder Hulk. Here comes the last breath from Caps, jumping into Vitality, but there's a 5-man stack. Bwipo's got Demonic Ascension, he's trying to chase forward. Cabo was caught, managed to get taken down by the Bone Skewer and a death from below. While the fight in the mid lane continues, it's Bwipo that shuts down Jactroll. Attila's trying to dodge, dip, duck, and dive, but he's running for his life. Jiizuke dashes forward into Hylissang and at least gets a reply back before he is bitten and chomped by Broxah. A fight on multiple fronts, 2 for 3 in favor of Fnatic.
2 for 3 is not awful when you are that far behind from Vitality. I honestly think they'll take that fight. It's not terrible. And we are seeing as this game goes on, we mentioned the late game is not awful for Vitality either. So these kind of fights, when you're that far behind, could be a lot worse. So we will give a little bit of positivity over Vitality for that fight. The downside obviously being that you can't really contest this Infernal Drag that's now going down.
And it's so crucial. It's Jiizuke that picks them up. There's a replay of the fight starting. Obviously, Jiizuke sees an opportunity on Hilly, but Fnatic were nearby to respond.
But this is the thing that we saw earlier as well with Vitality, is they were the ones going for the proactive play, which turned around against them. And you have to think it was a little bit risky for them to decide to go for this one. But it starts off okay. The execution on the backside of Cabochard there, almost escaping. But like I mentioned before, you've already lost 2 people here. You're going to get an extra kill. Jiizuke is going to bring one down too. And Jiizuke getting these shutdowns, you're looking for the future now. You're looking forward. You know you don't stand any chance right now at the game. So why don't you look forward? Why don't you look to getting these kills on your carries and seeing what you can do as the game progresses?
Yeah, you absolutely have to. And of course, the bounties changed a couple patches ago, so singular gold to Jiizuke. He's got himself a couple of long swords. And just to finish off that point, there's not a lot of HP and armor on the side of Vitality. So the more extended these fights go, there is a fair amount of burst damage between the Yasuo, Swain, the Pyke. So Vitality can go down. All right, big Bruiser battle sitting in the middle lane. Never Move comes out. Jiizuke takes a lot of damage, 30% of his hit points. The duet stuns down Bwipo. All right, where is Caps? Where is the pillar? Not going to come down yet. I think Broxah's pillar was on cooldown. Not this time round. That's Jiizuke's dunked. Death from below. Hylissang has a few seconds longer, whereas a Bone Skewer waiting for the cooldown. Not going to manage to land. A Demonic Ascension is going forward. The burst is available. Not going to find Gilius, but they will kill Cabo. Jactroll is slowed on his escape out. Jactroll forced to flash and does escape. Rather, Gilius make that. But the tower will be the focus. That's a fourth of the game.
Vitality just need to chill out a little bit, lads. Come on, you know you're ridiculously far behind. You keep grouping up in that mid lane, trying to go for that proactive play, but you know Fnatic's on your case every single time, and that is the third time now that they've done that. Playing that Aram, it's not really going to work out for you when you're this far behind and punished by Fnatic, who are now not only getting kills, but towers as well. 10,000
gold, Hourglass for Bwipo. I think there's enough gold for at least another BF sword for Caps. Look at the gold that they have to spend. 208, 308, 507. Youngbuck and Reckless, as well as the entire Fnatic squad, kudos for making an incredibly successful roster swap, because look at the performance Fnatic's putting together.
It's really working out for them, but at the same time, Jiizuke, buddy, what you doing there? We've had so many comments on Jiizuke feeling like he's not really living up to his standards. That Rookie of the Split that he was awarded last split in spring, really not been able to do too much, and we were looking for the future on the opposite side of Vitality. Looks so good even without Jiizuke performing.
Yep.
How good do they look when he finally did perform? But actually it's kind of turned on its head a little bit for Vitality. The rest of the team is crumbling, and Jiizuke is still just out of position, not really doing what he needs to do for his team to succeed, and it's looking really rough if you're a Vitality fan.
Some struggles indeed. But for Vitality, it's just a matter of, again, buying time. This is such a huge goal deficit to be in. Infinity Edge picked up by Caps, by the way. 100 gold cheaper on 8.12. So he's now got Eye Edge and Phantom Dancer. 2 items pretty much across the board. It's only Hilly that's working towards his, typical support life, 4-1-5, but doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad. I like seeing Pyke in meta because it does allow these skillful support players to whip out a skillful support champion, and we saw it last game, we're seeing it this game too, and good credit to Hylissang for setting up the plays. But Vitality, this has been the danger zone the whole game, the mid lane. Oh gosh, is it going to happen again, Trevor?
We're going to find out. Vitality, they managed to stay relatively grouped. I'm waiting for the last breath. Another Bone Skewer comes up, but look, sOAZ is putting pressure on the back end. Here comes Cabo. He's trying to get the HP with a Decimate. Death from below from Hylissang, that's already one. Bwipo gets another death from below. Hylissang gets a double from the fight before Caps manages to pick up a third. It's a double kill for Caps, an ace for Fnatic. 20 kills in 23 minutes, and they're sieging on the base.
I call it the danger zone, and that's exactly why. But at some point, the definition of insanity. Vitality, lads, you can't be pushing up that far in the mid lane. It's happening time and time again. If you need to buy time, the last place you want to be is where you can get collapsed on. And credit to Fnatic, every time they see Vitality out of position, they are punishing them. Even though it looks like Vitality is making a lot of mistakes, you would also like to say that's actually Vitality TP.
Cancel that.
Not imagine that to be completed.
I wonder if that was 2, because the cooldowns for Cabo and Attila are both unavailable.
Could have been a cheeky attempt there, but
too late in the day, unfortunately. 16,000 gold. Baron, 20 kills to 3, and I'm going to take us back to that story. Do you know Hilling could win this fight? No, he can't, but...
Nope, probably not.
Just to bring us back to that story, there was something a Youngbuck said that really stuck with me, was that why would you put a player in the bot lane to learn all of these top lane champions and matchups when you have 2 top laners who have proven themselves in the local and international stage? Because Bwipo is hard carrying again. He's 7-0-9 on this Swain.
Yeah, Bwipo's doing a fantastic job, but when I look at Vitality and their decision making, it's like I'm looking at a priest in a restroom. Holy crap, Vitality, what are you doing? Why do you keep going there? It's not working. It didn't work before. It didn't work the time before that, and it didn't work that time either.
Oh, they were so close to the line. They saved it in the end. Fnatic take their 7th tower of the game. And I tell you what, Fnatic fans, how do you possibly understand or feel about this situation? On one hand, Fnatic are winning. On the other hand, it's without Reckless, the man that has played with the team for 1,378 days. Hylissang manages to get a death from below in the back end, while Bwipo takes yet another kill. sOAZ may even be able to survive the death lasers. He's that tanky. 209, two fantastic Dr. Mundo performances. Hylissang goes all the way forward, gets yet another kill for Bwipo. 9-0-10. Fnatic falls short of the 1 kill a minute and they don't care. They destroy Vitality and go undefeated. Fnatic 2-0 on the week.
And what a clean game for Fnatic. All smiles from Caps there. Really solid performance from him on the Yasuo. Did get his 2 deaths in there, so Yasuo goal complete. Can't play Yasuo without a few cheeky deaths. And what day and night, I mentioned before, but Fnatic in week 1 were just looking really deflated. But they whipped out the pump, and in week 2, totally different team.
Exceptionally well played, and it's just there's so many more questions than answers.
Yes, I know.
There is not enough hours in a day to broadcast and try to unpack the storylines that we're seeing. You know, the rotation from Rekkles to Bwipo, the way that Fnatic have played, the adaptation in 8.12. You've got Hans Sommer being the AD carry king of Europe.
Yeah.
And you've got Bwipo being the bot king of Europe, so to speak.
Yeah, the top laner in he's in a foreign land and he's taking it by storm. And huge credit to Fnatic, they're looking really great. But where does this leave Vitality?
2-2 overall. Long season. For Vitality, I remember the trends from spring. They were a momentum team. They were winning a lot and then they were losing a lot. Consistent in one end or the other.
Consistency.
You know, I mean, consistently winning and consistently losing makes you consistent, my friend.
It's still consistency. You'll take it.
Well, I don't know where it leaves us, but I do have a couple of highlights to take a look back at from this game. I assume a lot of them will be Fnatic focused.
Yes.
Get those up on your screen and see exactly where they start. So this is level 8 and level 6, just one of the many early fights in favor of Fnatic.
And in that mid lane again, the danger zone where Vitality going for the proactive play. I felt like a lot of that this game with Vitality was starting it. It was like they wanted these plays to happen, but Fnatic responding incredibly well throughout the entire game. Again, another example, Vitality fight in the mid lane, being the ones to start the fight, but Fnatic collapsing incredibly well. But at this point, Vitality were already pretty behind. So you have to think, you've got to be a little bit more careful, lads, when you're going that far forward.
It's really exciting seeing a Fnatic squad perform to this level when you know that Bwipo and sOAZ, there's a little bit of competition between the two guys, right? And, you know, Bwipo himself has been fairly outspoken about it. But to see them performing well, to see everybody stepping up, every single member of this team has played out of their mind in the last 2 days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fnatic have just been really good, honestly. I would say from the last 2 games we've seen of them, they look like the best team in the LCS.
I've heard that statement a few times today, FoxDrop, and it's a question that...
Look at that damage, look at Bwipo.
Over the course of the next few weeks. I mean,
that's insane.
His final KDA ended up with 9-0-10. And he dealt more damage than the enemy top, mid, and bot combined.
But even from his own...
1,000 less, but whatever.
Just even compared to his own team. Just look at it, like, this guy isn't even meant to be playing in that role. What's he doing? He's meant to be in the top lane, and you stick him in that bot lane, and... I mean, yo, if you're Rekkles watching this, I mean, Rekkles did voluntarily step down. He did not want to be
If you're
there.
Rekkles watching this, I actually think you're happy. I genuinely believe that when a player approaches the team and says, this is my idea, look at this meta, look at the play, I think this can work, and then you see just how well it works, wins or wins. That's what matters at the end of the day. I do have to do player of the game, as soon as I remember what it's called, at LOL Esports on Twitter. We've got 3 players. Good luck. Bwipo, Broxah, or Hylissang. Who will you be voting for? Go jump onto Twitter and give us your votes. FoxDrop, it was fun. It was awesome. I'll see you in a few weeks. For now, we're going to head over to Pyra, who's sitting down with Caps and Hylissang.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. Now I am joined by Fnatic's 2 members who have been crushing it this week. Caps, I got you again. And of course, Hylissang. Guys, you seem like you had Vitality's number. How the hell did you do that?
So both games were kind of slow in the early game, but once we hit like the 10-minute mark, we just get all the 5v5 fights, and we just end up winning them every time. We like to draft like the Goon Squad, so we just run around together and beat them up.
Goon Squad. Okay, I like the name for it. You've coined it now. Hylissang, especially as a part of that, you've been playing some of these more like damage-dealing supports. The Pyke is coming in for you. Is this a new favorite for you?
Yeah, I think definitely Pyke is my favorite pick right now. And I think he's quite strong. I'm quite sad that we stopped them so hard with Pyke 2 games in a row because I think they won't let me play it again, and that makes me sad.
Well, that's the flip side, but you're not the only one with a power pick in this, Caps. You got to try your hand at the Yasuo, and I appreciate that you fully committed to the Yasuo, feeding a couple unnecessary kills. How did it feel to get back on that champ?
They were definitely fun. Like, I didn't get to practice it so much last week because we were playing some other strategies. So it's definitely fun to be back on like the Yasuo and all the other Bruises. So it's definitely fun.
I'm glad you pointed out that you guys have kind of made a shift in the strategy. I wanted to ask you about that. It seems so night and day from week 1 to 2. Do you feel like you've kind of got to figure, or you've put pretty much a lid on how the meta is right now? You figured it out?
I don't think we've figured it out yet. Not at all, actually. I think there's like so many things we want to try that we haven't gone to try because we don't have enough time. I feel like even our week 1 strat, even though it was good, we realized that it maybe wasn't the best strat. So we just kind of shook it up for week 2, and we definitely have more success right now.
Well, you could certainly say that now. One of the changes you guys did make, of course, is down in the bottom lane with Bwipo now in the bot up with you, Hylissang. What is the biggest difference you've noticed having him instead of Reckless?
He kind of plays like super aggressive at times, and I try to hold him back, but it's quite difficult because we never really lane together. And he wants to fight all the time, and I'm like, bro, like there's jungle coming bot lane, you just saw him, and he's like, no, I want to fight, you know, like he always wants to outplay because he's so good mechanically. And with Reckless, we kind of just don't want to die and just farm up and kill them like in mid-late game. And Bwipo is just so crazy.
So maybe a few kinks to work out for you guys, but you're going to be facing off against G2 eSports. Now, this is a team that you were able to pretty much wipe the floor with in spring. In fact, you haven't lost to them this year. Do you feel like it's going to be no problem, no sweat next week to take them out?
So G2 is definitely looking like one of the stronger teams. Like them and Misfits are looking really strong. But I don't think, we haven't gotten to try our new strategy up against them. But I definitely feel like we have a chance. And I don't know if we're favored, but I could definitely see us winning.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's certainly going to be one for the ages now. Thank you very much for joining me, gentlemen. Congratulations on your 2-0 week.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and send it off to the post-game.